Alright, what's up, Mysterious? Back in with another video. And this video I'm going to be talking about like answering or asking the question, is fame the answer to loneliness? Is fame the answer to loneliness in this generation, in this day and age? Because if you look back to like the old days, the 2010s, the early 2000s and before, it seemed as if loneliness wasn't an issue as much. You see all the statistics, you see all like the data, you see all these YouTube videos, etc. Seems like loneliness is a big thing. It's a big deal. It's one of the main problems in this generation. And conversely, you also see really famous people. Oh, there's a train coming. You see a lot of famous people, you see a lot of influencers. This is the era of influencers. Everyone's an influencer, etc. So you also see famous people at the same time more than ever, and the line between what's like famous and what's like not is kind of blurred. I feel like you don't have as many proper celebrities like back in the day. Like how back in the day you used to have like Michael Jackson and like, I don't know, Michael Jordan or the Beatles and all these like actual like proper celebrities and actors. Now it's like influencers and the lines are blurred. You understand? So I'm talking about that. And on top of that, the loneliness and the fame thing, the reason I'm bringing this up is because both seem like doable. You can either be just alone, or you can try to go to the other end of the degree, it feels like, and just pursue fame. They're two completely polar opposite things, but one gets you what you wanted in the first place. One that gets you what you wanted in the first place. If you become famous, if you pursue fame and notoriety, you can have like the complete opposite of loneliness. You can have a lot of attention, a lot of people around you watching you, all this stuff. But the thing is that that's an extreme level. That's like another level. Like some people don't like fame. Some people don't like the idea of fame. Some people would rather just be more low key, on the low, less people know about them, all that stuff. So it's a toss up. And pursuing fame, it's a weird one. It's a tricky one because it feels like once you go, you wouldn't be able to go back. You know what I mean? But if you do pursue fame, you do pursue like social media, YouTube, all this stuff, and you actually go in and like pursue that, yeah, your life can be better. You can meet nicer people. You can meet more people. But yeah, like I just said already, it can have an effect on your life. But the thing is, if you're someone who's extremely alone, because this is more for like extreme lonely type of people, really lonely people who don't have much friends, never had a girlfriend and all this shit, is like, because the thing is, right, the reason why I bring this up as well is because like it seems quite accessible to try to become like famous. It seems quite accessible to become like a popular type of person if you really go in on it. If you use like all the things you need to do that, you use CapCut, you upload videos, you make videos. Some people don't even edit any videos, just like how I'm not doing that for this. Some people, they just pick up a camera video and then they just upload, a bit like Jet Phrasing on YouTube. So it seems quite accessible to do that, and it can change someone's life quite a bit if they pursue this, if they pursue social media or YouTube or whatever. So that's the thing, is like, it does seem like it can solve a lot of problems. I feel like I could just I'm reiterating a lot of what I just said, but like, there's a lot to unpack here, that's the thing, right? So bear with me. But it does seem like it will solve a lot of problems in that regard, because something I've been thinking about recently is that it feels as if no one really does respect me unless I did become famous. Like, it feels like no one will really respect me unless I am famous or popular to some degree. And it feels like most people are kind of like that in some regard, because if you're not out of the ordinary in some way, you're not rich in some way, you're not really popular, you're not really good looking, there's no real reason for people to care about you. There's no real reason for people to remember you, or to like just yeah, to just care about you at all. It feels like people can just like meet you, shake your hand, and then forget about you the next day, and you can become very forgettable if you don't have a impact on people, if you don't have like this like imprint on people's memory. And I feel like when you look at these very like polarizing type of people, it becomes these famous polarizing type of people, it becomes easy to leave an impact and imprint on people's minds and memories and everything. It just becomes another level, and nothing becomes hard. It feels like as if it's actually more of a challenge to not be famous once you are, if that makes sense. You know, a bit like Andrew Tate or someone like that, or Michael Jackson, or these types of people, Conor McGregor, these polarizing, popular celebrities, influencers, whatever. And I think recently I heard in one of these videos, I think it was Tate, he was talking about how like, yeah, it's like when he goes on like Instagram or something, it's like yes, it's like a challenge to get rid of these girls or something like that. Or he's saying it's like, yeah, like obviously he has loads of options, and like he could just technically just go through his Instagram and just look at like who's messaging him and all this stuff. Like it's like the rules reversed, because like as a younger guy, he used to obviously be broke. Andrew Tate used to be broke, and all that stuff. And life would have been way harder, but now that just the tables have completely turned, the people who used to be broke are kind of like now rich, and maybe people who used to be well off or alright, they're like kind of broke because of inflation and all this stuff. But if you just have unlimited resources, you have more than enough fame, you have more than enough money, but mainly fame is what I'm talking about. You have more than enough fame, right? It doesn't become too hard to talk to people. It doesn't become hard to like communicate with anyone, make friends, and get a girlfriend, or if you don't want to be alone, it just becomes like a choice at the end of the day. It becomes like a choice in that regard. It's not like, oh, this thing where like it's this challenge, or like you have to figure out how to like socialize or whatever. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us, we basically, how do I say it? We're kind of done playing this game. We're done like trying to fight like this world, trying to fight our minds, trying to fight like loneliness. Like we just want to have things like already as it is. Like we want. I don't want to say, oh, we want everything given to us, but like we want things to just be way easier. Like why should this have to be such a struggle? Just like why can't life just be way easier? And it seems like that's one of the easier things that there is to do, because when it comes to like, for instance, wealth and like money, as one example, it seems like there are way more people who are richer now, but then there's also more people who are poor at the same time. Like the people who are rich are really rich, and there's more of them in this generation, but then there's also loads of more broke people and poor people because of like inflation and all this shit, and just the job crisis that's going on, and everything to do with that. And I feel like it's the same thing to do with like, loneliness. Is like, yeah, there's way more like lonely people, but there's also way more famous people who like are just really popular, have more than enough than they need, and they can't get enough. Like they have like more than enough. They have countless people messaging them, they have countless followers. They have so much fame, YouTube subscribers, whatever, that like it would almost be a challenge to just get rid of those type of people. It'd be a challenge not to be. It'd be a challenge. It'd be a challenge for them to be alone, because they always got these people like, heckling them, talking to them, etc. Like if you take like a celebrity that goes outside and they can barely walk the streets, there's always people like trying to get photos and shit like that. That's not really ideal, but like you get what I'm trying to say. It's like the complete opposite of like a lonely person. It's the complete opposite of like someone who's by themselves, like chronically alone, just all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. But the only problem that I really think of when it comes to that is weeding out all the fake people, getting rid of all the fake people that are just there for money, just there for clout. That would be like the hardest part. And I guess that's what you can see now, is like the people who are around you now, they're really there. They're really like your day ones and everything. And then the people later on, like, you know, some of them, they probably only come for like, you know, just to ride along, just to like, you know, get clout, get fame off of you and all this. But I just think like fame, money, looks, all this stuff, they're just resources. You know, I view these things as resources. I view like status as a resource. I view money as just a resource. You know, looks are just a resource. I don't think of it as a superficial. I don't think of it as like a superficial type of thing where it's like, oh, this is so bad, like it's immoral, it's not a good thing to chase, it's not a good thing to strive towards or pursue. Yeah, it's not the best thing to just pursue superficial things all the time. But without some of these things, like you can't even live. You can't even live a normal life, and you can't even like do what you actually want, and you can't actually go about your day. You know, you do need to use some of it to your leverage, and there's some books out there that talk about this, talk about like dark manipulation, you know, these certain tactics, how to like influence people and how to win people over and all this stuff. And it talks about these type of things like LMS, looks, money, status, and that's just what I'm talking about. Like, if you just do something like, if you just like do something relatively small, like make a Twitch channel, and you become like a relatively popular Twitch streamer, but not even like that popular, not like super famous, but you just get a decent amount of notoriety. I feel like it just makes things easier. Like you can just influence like your life a bit better and your environment better. You don't have to like win people over, like, because when you're like, if you have no status, you have no money, and like you have no looks, it feels like you have to win people over, like as if you have nothing, like you're a beggar and you're having to like beg people to like, you know, be your friend or something like that, or like beg for money or beg for like people. Like it feels like comes from a, it feels like that all that comes from like a lack mindset, like a lack state of mind, like a desperate mindset, and that's not really good for like manifesting. It feels like as if yeah, like that's like a place of desperation. It's not like a good it's not a good place to think from. Do you know what I mean? You want to have more of an abundance mindset, because that is like the opposite. That lack mindset is the opposite of the abundance mindset. Having nothing, you know, having no friends, having no influence, having no money, that just makes me feel like a fucking like poor person. And I don't want to be around. I don't want to be in that mindset. Like I'm so over that shit. I'm so done with like having to feel like, oh, I need to like win people over. I just want to have a breezy, kind of easy life. You know, that's what I want. I want things that like that to just flow. To just flow to me in an effortless way, not have to think much, and just like, you know, money should just be a resource to do the things that I actually want to do, because that should just, in my head, like that is not like the end goal. That is like almost like the beginning. Like the beginning is like making money and getting status, and then after that, it's like, yeah, now you live the life that you actually want to live. Now you can use those resources you have to actually just influence the life that you want and just do things you actually want to do. Go to certain locations, go to like certain places for dinner, you know, travel the world, go to nice shops and stuff. Like, just do that. Like, just, you'll just be able to think of something and just do it. Basically, you won't have to even think, oh, can I do this, can I afford that, can I do this. Like, you just be able to do things. Like, just think of it and then fucking do it, you know what I mean? And that's my goal in some way. Yeah, it's not gonna happen overnight, but this is what I strive for, and I hope within the next few years of this channel, you'll see an evolution of me from going just from this random guy to someone that's actually like legit and like knows what they're talking about, and has a good life, you know, has a well-established life and all this stuff. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Steers out.